So let's talk about the healing journey from a narcissistic or a toxic relationship. So a lot of people experience narcissistic abuse and are involved in currently or were involved in toxic relationship. And once you get out of that toxic relationship with a narcissist or whoever, you have to start on your healing journey. It's a journey, y'all. It is not a destination. You cannot catch a flight to healing. It's a journey. You have to go there. You have to work to get there. And everybody's journey is going to be different. Everybody's journey is going to take different amounts of time. And comparison is the thief of joy. So once you start your healing journey and you see somebody else, like in somebody's comment section, that's further along than you are, don't compare yourself to that person because you think you'll start to think you need to be further along than you are. They've been out of the relationship 3 months and they seem happier than I am. What's wrong with me? Maybe I was the problem. Take your time. Don't compare your healing journey to anybody else's. Because once you start to compare, you start to steal your joy. I'm telling you, it is a journey, not a destination. Hope this helps. What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of A Narcissist Explains. I am self-aware, diagnosed narcissist Lee Hammock, and I use my platform on social media to raise awareness for NPD, get more people into therapy, and then also in the process of doing all of that, validate the victims and survivors of said disorder. This series right here is dedicated to just making my TikToks and my YouTube shorts longer. They are 60 seconds or less. This is going to be a lot longer than 60 seconds, y'all. I can guarantee you that. So the video you just watched was about the healing journey from a narcissistic relationship, the healing journey of truth from a narcissistically abusive relationship and things of that nature. So many people get into these toxic relationships and you get stuck in them. You do. You're in these relationships for way longer than what you need to be. You're in these relationships for, sometimes you get embarrassed how long you're in these relationships. You just do. I've talked to so many people over Zoom that they're just embarrassed. It's like, I can't believe I stayed in this for 10 years. Like, I knew year one that this person was not it, that they were not going to change, but I just ignored the red flags because I was in love. And here I am now, 10 years, cheated on, left, used, abused, and discarded like I was nothing. They're happy in another relationship. So now you have to start the healing journey, y'all. And I keep specifically saying the healing journey because that's what it is. It is absolutely 100%, y'all, a healing journey. It is not a destination. I can tell you, you cannot find healing on a map. There's not a map right there. You're not gonna pull out a globe, spin that globe, and be like, right there, there's healing right there. Let's go. Let's catch this flight to healing. It does not work that way, y'all. You have to work through it. Some things you have to go through. You can't step around healing. You can't substitute another person in place of this person because you're going to take the baggage of this relationship into your next relationship. You just are. I know you just like, well, I can separate the two. Like, and they always say the best way to heal is get under somebody else or clap somebody else's cheeks or whatever. That's the best way to heal. That is not the best way to heal. That's the best way to cope. That's the best way to cope and escape in the moment. But that's not how you heal. I tell people this all the time. You have to go through it, y'all. It's gonna be painful. If you don't want to go through it, typically people go back to this relationship. If you are the one that left, them and the healing journey gets too painful, the trauma bond is too painful to break, you go back because that pain, the pain of being in that relationship is less than the pain of being outside the relationship. It just is a lot of times. Because a lot of times people see the trauma bond and you understand that the trauma bond you think it's just mental. No, the trauma bond is like breaking a drug addiction. Like, it is physical. You have physical symptoms. You're not going to want to eat. You're going to break out in rashes and hives. You might get hospitalized and things like that. Need to go on an IV. There's going to be pain, y'all. It's a healing journey. You can only heal from pain. What else can you heal from? If I'm mistaken, name something else other than mental, physical pain that you have to heal from. I know I could be mistaken, y'all, but put it in the comment section if you think of something else. But this is going to be about, if there is something else, this is going to be healing from pain and mental stuff. You have to go through it, y'all. And it's a process. It's a journey. First of all, like the first step on the healing journey, you have to learn to relove you. Because you spent so much time, effort, energy in this toxic situation, in this toxic relationship, that a lot of times you lose yourself. You forget who you are. You don't know what you like to do. That's why I always ask people, like, how do I heal from this relationship? And I ask them, I was like, what do you do for yourself? And it's always a pause. It's always a pause. There's always a pause there. I said, so what's step one on a healing journey? Like, what do I need to do? How do I break the trauma bond? I was asked, like, so what do you do for yourself? They act like that's a question they never heard before. Like, what do you mean what I do for myself? Like, what do you do for yourself? What do you do to give back to yourself? Because a lot of times in these situations, a lot of times, well, not a lot, sometimes in these situations, these people become parents when they're young, when they're younger, 18, 19, 22, 23 years old. And they're in their 30s and 40s, and they spent the last 13, 14, 15 years taking care of somebody else, married to somebody else, taking care of their needs and wants, taking care of their kids' needs and wants. And you neglect you. You neglect, we neglect us. You don't take care of yourself. So what do you like to do for you? What have you done for yourself to pamper yourself, to give back to yourself? Not including anybody else. Well, I like to take my kids. What do you do for you? Well, like me and my husband, what do you do for you? Well, me and my wife, what do you do for you? It's focused on you, but you see how you are. You see me and my husband, me and my wife, me and my kids, me and my friends. What do you do for you that doesn't involve anyone else? And a lot of times people don't have an answer to that question. They just don't. A lot of times they hear that question and they just they go blank, they go silent because they don't have an answer to it because they've lost what they like to do. They no longer know what they like to do and they lose themselves and they confused. So step one in these situations is figuring out what you as a human, what you as a person like to do for you. What have you done to give back to you? You have to. That's how you start the journey. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. Step one, put one foot in front of the other and go do something for yourself. Turn your phone off, disconnect from the world, and go do something for you. Fulfill yourself for a little bit. You've been giving this to other people for so long, time to give back to you. And in this moment in time right here, you're probably going to be going through the selfish thoughts. Like, well, is it selfish? Because you used to think that narcissistic person in your life has convinced you that it's selfish of you to do things for yourself. So you have to fight through that urge to not be selfish, to fight through that guilt of being selfish. Like, I'm being selfish by giving something to myself and not taking my kids or my ex-husband or my ex-wife. You are not being selfish. Sometimes, or you can be, accept the selfishness. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes I tell this to people. Sometimes I tell the people all the time. Like, sometimes you have to be selfish before you can be selfless. You have to give to yourself first before you can give to other people. And don't take my quote either. You have to be selfish before you can be selfless. Because how are you going to give from an empty cup? How are you going to pour into somebody else and give somebody else some love if you haven't given it to yourself? Explain that right there. Because I need to know. How are you going to give it to yourself? Do you know what I mean? I think that you need to give back to yourself. You have to fulfill your needs. You have to fulfill your wants. You have to do something for you. You haven't done anything for yourself in a very, very long time, so now is the time to do something for yourself. You have to. Why not? I know you're going to feel guilty. That's step one. We'll work through the other stuff later on, but the first step we want to practice on is self-love. We're going to do a series. I might do a series on this, the healing journey, because I can go on for about an hour talking about this. I don't want to. It can get redundant. But step one is to do something for you. Find out what you like to do. Find out what you like to do for yourself, to give back to yourself, to make yourself happy. Because that right there is going to give you more power than what you really think it's going to give. It's going to empower you to take the steps in your journey. It's going to empower you to take the steps and give back to yourself. It's going to empower you to be you and to do something for you. And to help you get past the other person, because it's going to be painful. You might go to the beach by yourself, turn your phone off and cry on the beach. Who cares? Feel like that cry is going to make you feel alive because you're a human being. You got tears, you got emotions. Enjoy the emotions. Enjoy them. Everybody doesn't get to feel them. That narcissist in your life doesn't get to feel them. Who cares how they're treating the next person? Right now, in this moment, you're treating yourself better. Because you're focused on them treating the next person better, you need to treat you better. Treat you better. Focus on you. It's a healing journey, y'all. Same thing for narcissists. If you're a narcissist listening to this, you already focused on you. But focus on you in a good way to get to the point that you can give back to other people instead of taking away from them. Because that's toxic. That's a toxic existence. We don't do toxic existences here. We don't have toxic existences here, guys. We just live our lives to the fullest extent possible. We take back our power. We take back our strength. We live in our truth. I'm a narcissist. I've been clinically diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, but that does not mean I have to be a bad person. I just don't. You know what I mean? It's a healing journey, y'all.
Baby steps are still steps. My daughter just started walking. It takes her a very, very long time to get across the room. Way longer than it takes me. I can take 2 steps and be across the room. It might take her 50 steps, but she gets there. She gets there, and she's happy when she gets there. She smiles when she gets there. Baby steps are still steps. You just have to take them. Thank y'all for tuning into another episode, y'all. It's a healing journey. You know what I mean? Baby steps are still steps. Thank y'all for tuning in. Get back to yourself. Self-love is the best love. Mental illness is out. Peace. Like and subscribe. Peace.